What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Action Industries. Got another quick movie review for you here on a Thursday. This movie is in theaters tonight. You could go see it tonight. It is Like a Boss, the brand new lady comedy directed by Miguel Arteta. Miguel Arteta, a director who you probably haven't seen many, if any, of his films, but he did movies like The Good Girl with Jennifer Aniston, Alexander and the No Good, Terrible, Very Bad Day, Youth and Revolt. A bunch of movies that got released that were promoted. Beatrice at Dinner, but he didn't do like A Girl's Trip or an Old School or some comedy that you've seen that you're just like, oh, that one blew my mind. So this is definitely a pretty high-profile cast for what he has been working with in the last couple of years. Definitely a TV director. He's an episode of Succession here and there. The cast in this film: Rose Byrne, you have Tiffany Haddish in there, Salma Hayek are the stars. You have Jennifer Coolidge in there, Billy Porter, a few really, really good sort of comedy players who, the types of people that you see show up in bit parts in great comedies or coming-of-age movies. And I really enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie was hilarious. I thought this movie absolutely executed. Is this movie a great movie? I'm not really sure. Is this movie super enjoyable and one that if it was on cable would I watch again? Totally. A lot of good jokes. I would say 3 out of 4 jokes in this movie landed for me. It also does a lot of really good things that have to do with kind of like companionship. The phrase ride or die is used a lot between the leads in this film. And so, whether it's between brothers or sisters, between best friends, even just in terms of your relationships in your life, the people that you really ride or die with, the people that are your core people. And I think there's great lessons to be learned in this movie. It's one of the things that I think when you make a comedy, so much of it is about the jokes, but it's those moments between the jokes. The same with action movies, it's the moments between the action where you really have to kind of make or break the movie. Do those moments work? Do they keep you invested in the movie? And in this movie, they especially do, but especially between Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish. You have a really wonderful relationship. In the movie, Rose Byrne's kind of she's the much more like A type. She's kind of closed off. She's very organized. She handles the money. And Tiffany Haddish, she's way more kind of standoffish. She's creative. And they have this great friendship, but they come to blows at times in the movie because they don't communicate as well as they could. And I think there's great lessons to be learned about communication with your loved ones when you watch their relationship in this movie. The jokes are fantastic. Salma Hayek is great. She's probably the funniest in terms of just like a pure character that they create for this movie, and she really does almost steal the show. But in the end, this movie is not asking you to do too much. It's not too long. It's well-paced. It's funny. I laughed pretty much throughout. There's definitely some weird dialogue choices that are just like sort of zany and bizarre, but ultimately really, really funny. I would recommend going to see this movie, guys. I think this is probably going to be I'll bet you this is in the top 10 comedies of the year. I'd be shocked if it's not. It's totally laughable. And as we are looking more and more and more in this movie space to see movies that are not just led by a similar group of men, and specifically white men, this movie's great. In that regard, it's you're giving an opportunity to really, really, really funny actresses to do things that those R-rated male comedies have done for so many years. I said this about Booksmart. I said this about Girls Trip. This movie fits that similar mold. It's really, really good. So I'd highly recommend seeing it, guys. I don't know if this is going to be in my top 25 of the year, but I'll bet you it's a top comedy, and it's definitely a comedy that if you want to laugh, you don't want to have to think too hard, you want a little bit of heart, go see this movie. I think it's genuinely really, really funny. So that's going to wrap up the review here on Action Industries, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We've been growing at a great pace with new subscribers. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Are you excited to see this movie? Do you like these actresses? Do you like any of those other movies I mentioned by Miguel Arteta? Let me know. I would love to know, guys. We'll be back with more reviews very soon. Have a good one, guys. Take care.